and welcome to this week's Out of Control. If you missed last week's show, let's have a quick look at some of the action.
Last week's excitement included the Finns once again excelling themselves with their cunning stunts and a new form of motorised water sport.
Yeah, it is with the old 10 valve out. He makes a good start. But oh, look at this!
And blimey, that's a big one. Word you don't hear every day. As we saw, one of the biggest ever rallycross crashes. Although this chap thinks that he can match it. On this show, we go back in time to see some classic British rally action. And this is just a mild taster of what you're going to see in our Finnish sections. After this ford on the Isle of Man, there's a sign that says, please try your brakes. Because as you know, your brakes don't work very well when they're wet. Although your car doesn't work very well when it's on its side either.
Don't rush up here.
Okay, flag and a bottom.
Yeah, look after
Driver Harold DeMuth's only problem, wet feet. This is a course car on the 1980 Welsh Rally. And when the course car gets it wrong, it's very embarrassing for the driver, but very amusing for the crowd. Neat driving, eh? And here's another driver having trouble with a bridge. Although why he thought he couldn't make it at that speed is a bit of a puzzler. It's strange, isn't it, that the world's best rally drivers can drive through the trickiest, fastest and most dangerous stages in the world without a problem, but then they spin into a gate post on a spectator stage, and it's lucky for them and their co-drivers that the gate posts are protected by straw bales, which of course most tree trunks aren't. Out of the fog, a rally car comes. But the driver, thinking it's an auto test, tries to take this gateway backwards and nearly succeeds. Going off isn't the problem here, it's getting back on again that's the problem. Let's go backwards. Well, that doesn't work. Okay then, forwards it is. Or should that be sideways? And maybe downwards a bit as well. I suppose the worry is here that they'll continue going downwards, never to be seen again. Eventually there's a bit of gravel, grip is regained, and on they pop. I bet he could do that again if you paid him.
And once it lets go on ice, there's nothing you can do apart from hang on and pray. Now we're over to Finland again.
Well, you don't see many people rallying these big Volvos, do you? And look, there's another one. This is another of those that doesn't look much from here, but once again it's just the type of corner that's bound to catch out some of those crazy Finns. A Finnish man whose cameraman filmed this footage says that he's often accused of moving the caution boards so that people crash. So now he films the caution boards as well, so that he can prove that he hasn't moved them. Mind you, similar things are said of a group of lads in the UK, but we won't go into that here. As ever with these rallies, it's not long before there's an unofficial car park at the side of the stage. Come on now, get off the fence. So many Volvos, so little time. The thing about these cars, of course, is that they are very heavy, so turning them back on their wheels again must be a bit of a struggle for the spectators. Somebody could start a Volvo parts business there. Nice roll, don't you think? Perfectly symmetrical. And off they go again. Oh no, they've decided to stop with the rest of them for a picnic perhaps. The thing about these Finns is that they're not inhibited by intelligence, are they? This fella goes off, gets back on the road again, and is going as fast as ever, without even knowing if he's damaged his car at all. Back in the UK now, and as we've seen before, when you lose it in the wet, you can spin forever. Especially if you get your wheels on the grass. What a thud! Straight through the fence post. What this driver has to be careful of is not getting stuck on the sodden grass with his tarmac tyres on. If he stops now, he'll be stopped forever. Now you and I can see that this is a 90 right, but maybe the driver couldn't. For a few seconds the crew doesn't get out of the car. Are they in shock or just shouting at each other? When they do get out, it's obvious that the co-driver isn't happy. Maybe it was his car, but at least they both look nice in their matching overalls and helmets. And don't presume just because you've done a stage before that it will be the same the next time. This unexpected hedge has obviously been put there just to reduce the average speed a little bit, but someone didn't expect it. This is John Robson in his Kielder Waters Vauxhall Corsa, a fiery, aggressive driver if ever there was one. Remember this car because you'll see it again next week, only it won't be looking quite the same. Now there are two ways that the stage can go over this crest. Sometimes they go straight on, sometimes they go left. Today they are supposed to go left. The crew in the escort get it slightly wrong, only losing time because they drop a wheel in the ditch. But the driver of the Sierra gets it completely wrong, nearly taking marshals, camera crews, cars, the lot with him as he attempts to go straight on. Scottish cameraman Alistair Miller was one of the luckiest there, but his position sums up what I've said on previous programmes about never compromising your safety just to get a good shot. Still, no damage done, and not much time lost either, until, in his hurry to get going again, the driver drops it into a ditch at the side of the road. Clumsy and careless, and more time is lost here than when they went off in the first place.
Quite a bit of mud, sweat and tears there, so we'll leave them where they are and we'll go and have a quick break. Hello again. Later in the show we've got Rallycross, but first of all we're back over to Finland again.
It's a roasty, toasty day in Finland, and once again they're all getting it wrong. The crew of this escort stop briefly while they try to decide whether or not they should be in the field, before deciding that no, it doesn't look much like a stage, and back out onto the gravel surface they go. The driver of the Sunbeam isn't too sure which way he should be going either, but luckily he makes his mind up before it's too late. Mind you, he does choose the wrong way, but at least he's still on his wheels. It's obvious that putting the tape back up is doing no good either. The drivers are still getting confused. You would think that the fact that there was tape across the escape road and tape across the field would indicate that there was a right way to go, but not to some of these fellas. Maybe a wall would help convince them. Now then, I think he's going a bit quick. Yet again, the Finns never fail to surprise us. This chap is obviously keen to enter the Guinness Book of Records for standing a car on its nose. What do you think, virtual commentator?
Well, as you can see, he stood the car on its nose. And then it falls back onto its wheels again.
Yes, well spotted, virtual. I don't know what I'd do without you.
What the Finns get up to gets more and more bizarre with each passing week, doesn't it? Anyway, now's the time for some more Rallycross action.
As I always say, and I'll say again, Rallycross is a non-contact sport. Sometimes though, the contact does look a bit nasty, because at these speeds, any contact can send you into a high-speed roll.
Need of a good result here because this car.
Fortunately, once again, no one is injured.
They were both having a terrific scrap, but
Although it's remarkable how someone can get out unhurt from an accident like this. This Metro goes over without help from anyone though. It just trips itself up. And the driver wants to get going again. But the marshals think that it's probably better if he doesn't bother. Here you can see the driver steering it, even as it's starting to roll over. But it doesn't actually do any good. Virtual, time for some more input from you.
Well, as you can see, he's driving the car on the limit, and it just touches the inside curb and over it goes.
Thanks, Virtual. Why do you always say just what everyone can see anyway? You never say anything original at all.
Well, that's my job, isn't it? I'm a master at stating the bleeding obvious. That's what all us expert summarisers do, isn't it?
Have you nothing original to say at all?
No, nothing at all.
Drives around in a BMW, all runs fast, squinting in the queue. Get him on a rally and he won't know what to do. He's got all the gear, but no idea. We were introduced to Maps Bank last time, and in his efforts to make sure that he misses it, the driver of this Fiesta nearly takes the entire field out instead. Looks so good when he's ready to play, trains so hard each and every day. Would you pick him for your team? No bloody way. He's got all the gear, no idea. But the driver of this Saab, excited at the prospect that he's in the lead, gets it all wrong and launches himself into a big roll, causing consternation behind him. There must be a reason that race organisers didn't remove Maps Bank, but I can't see one, unless it was to spice the races up a bit. But the roll cage does its job again, and the driver is unhurt and pops out to be checked over by the excellent medical staff that you always get at motorsport meetings. Just a pity that the doctor couldn't find a brain. And we finish today with a bit of a bonus for you. Yet more chaotic mayhem from, you've guessed it, Finland. Because where else would a driver enter a bend so fast with absolutely no chance of getting round it?
Now it's time for this week's Top 10. Thanks for watching this week's show. Only a couple more to go now. Join us again next week.